Ain't no way. Ain't no way. This man doesn't like you. What do you mean? I know. Stand up. Hello, little enzymes. Welcome back to Dacia's Digest. I haven't done this in a while. The hearts. Wait. Come on. There we go. Happy Valentine's Day, or happy belated Valentine's Day, depending on when this video goes live. I am wearing red in honor of the holiday. I also have some pimple patches on, so just act like you don't see those. But the topic of today's video is going to be all love lost. We have 3 stories. They all have updates. Everything will be included in the description, and let's get into it. So the first story is, am I the a-hole for asking to divorce my husband after cheating on him? I, 30 female, have been married to my husband, 32 male, for 5 years. 1 year ago, I cheated on him in a drunken one-night stand. The next morning, I felt disgusted and confessed immediately. He was devastated, but I begged and pleaded for another chance, and he gave it to me. I was ecstatic, practically hugging his feet, thanking him. It has been 1 year since, but I feel like we haven't made any progress. I took all the steps for reconciliation. I went to therapy, both couples and personal. I made it a point to put all his needs and wants first. I gave him space when necessary, but also made it clear I was always there for him. I truly gave it my all, but it didn't even make a dent. He won't touch me, won't talk to me. We are intimate, but every time we do it, it's clear he's just doing it out of physical need. I know I don't deserve more, but all I really want is just one sign to tell me that we're making progress. Just one sign that he still cares, that someday we can be like before, or at least close to it. Just one sign that the sun is still there. Last night, I was at my limit. I told him we needed to talk and laid it all out. I told him that I loved him and I knew I was at fault, but that it was clear he was never going to forgive me. That, as such, we needed to stop causing pain to each other and that I wanted a divorce. At first, he seemed surprised, and then he got angry. He yelled at me, saying how he knew I would never stick to my word and how he should have never given me the second chance. I got teary at his words but didn't argue, just said again what I told him before. At this point, he left the house and I haven't seen him since. He won't return my texts or phone calls. None of our parents or friends know about my infidelity, so this is the only place where I can get another perspective. I know I am the a-hole for doing what I did a year ago, and I'll carry that shame and guilt for the rest of my life, but I don't think that I'm wrong for wanting to end both of our pains. Am I the a-hole for asking for divorce? Edit, I think you guys misunderstand. I am not blaming my husband or the lack of progress for the death of my marriage. I killed my marriage and I will always carry that. I just don't think I'm in the wrong to end it now, no matter how much it hurts on both sides. Edit 2, he texted me, says he's coming home. I don't know what to expect. That's tough. I mean, you can't really put a time limit. Well, you can't really put a time limit on someone dealing with the pain of their spouse cheating on them. At the same time, she doesn't have to just stick around indefinitely waiting for him to come to terms or to forgive her or whatever. So for any reason, if she want to get a divorce, she can get a divorce. At the end of the day, if that's what she want to do, that's what she want to do. But I don't know. I don't think she's the a-hole for asking for a divorce. I'll just say that. Some of the comments, someone said 1 year is nothing. It probably took him 6 months to stop thinking about you being intimate with someone else 24/7. How long did it take for you to stop thinking about him cheating on you? Oh, wait. Yikes. Someone else said, you're the a-hole. You destroyed your marriage and expect your husband to snap out of it and get over it. It's only been a year. The one-night stand was a conscious decision, and you neglected to tell him about the issues and decided to be intimate with a stranger. He didn't even tell anyone, so he spared you embarrassment. Another person said, you're the a-hole. It seems, however, that your husband is still struggling to forgive, and it's truly painful. when efforts don't result in emotional healing. Recognizing that both of you are hurting and stuck in the situation is crucial, and it seems like you're aware of that. Right, because the question was, am I the a-hole for asking for a divorce? No, I don't think so. Now, as far as like what she did, yeah, of course, like she was wrong. But if two people are at an impasse and there's not really much sign of it getting better, like should she just stay in this situation for the rest of her life, even though she's the one that made the mistake? I don't think so. Should he stay in this for the rest of his life when he's clearly unhappy? I don't think so. So I don't think she's the a-hole for asking for a divorce. I don't know. She had an update one day later. She said, before I begin this update, I feel like there are a few things I need to clarify. I made the original post to ask if I was the a-hole for asking my husband for a divorce, since I thought it was the best course of action for both of us, not if I was the a-hole for cheating. I am already aware that I am an a-hole for doing that to him. I said it was a drunken one-night stand, but I never blamed the alcohol. Yes, it was an external factor, but the blame is mine because the decisions leading to the infidelity were mine. Nothing forced me to cheat. I know that. I didn't ask for a divorce because our progress was too slow or not as fast as I would have liked. I was willing to work at a snail's pace. The problem was that the progress was non-existent. Not even a hint to show that we might be in the right direction. I felt that it wasn't right for either of us to forever remain in that limbo state. Exactly. That's why I'm saying I don't think she's an a-hole. That's why I agree. She said, now for the update. My husband came back home yesterday. He was a lot calmer, and this time he started the conversation. Firstly, he apologized for lashing out. He said that he had thought about it and realized that he was only punishing me without allowing himself to start healing and forgiving. He asked if I really wanted a divorce. I said no, and that I loved him, but if he was never even at least considering forgiving me, then there was no point in causing more pain to each other. He was silent for a moment, then he hugged me. That was all it took. I broke down crying and hugging him back. He promised that he would try to forgive me. I tried to take things a bit further, and he let me. I'm not going to lie and say that now everything is well. It was clear that the intimacy was still purely physical for him, and after, he didn't treat me much more differently than usual. But now I feel like there is an achievable goal ahead, and that we're both actively trying to achieve it. I guess we're not getting divorced yet. Honestly, probably not many people wanted this update. I'm just highlighting my thoughts because, again, I can't really talk to anyone else about this. Thank you to those who gave genuine responses to me in the first post. Edit, since I've read this a lot in the comments, I have told him from day one he is free to tell anyone he wishes about us. I have told him that I would never try to minimize or make it seem like he's lying. I'm not concerned with my reputation at all. I just don't think it's my place to take that choice from him. And then some of the comments, someone said, as you said, you messed up royally. He was subconsciously punishing you and himself. You have a huge mountain to climb, but at least you have been encouraged to keep on that path. I'm hoping you don't feel tempted again because I think that would shatter your husband. Someone said, yeah, rebuilding trust after that is going to be a long, tough road. Another person said he deserves better. The last comment, I'm just confused on why he didn't jump into the chance of a clean divorce. They don't love each other. They don't respect each other. And no way he's going to suddenly trust her cheating butt after 1 year. Just walk away, my dude. Stop beating the dead horse. He basically gave her hope to what? So they can go another year of this misery? I mean, I wouldn't say that they don't love each other. I also wouldn't say that they don't respect each other. This is a hard situation. This is how they chose to go about it. So they're gonna have to live with that decision. Let me go to the next well, actually, let me just check, see if there's anything else. No other updates. So we'll go to the second story. My husband's getting drinks with a coworker and I'm terrified. My husband, 35 male, and I, 34 female, have been together for 9 years, married for 5. He was showing me a video on his phone the other day, and a text came through from a female name I didn't recognize. I asked who it was, and he said she's a colleague from a company that his company works closely with. He has text previews turned off, so I couldn't actually see what was said, but my suspicions were raised. I know it's wrong, but when he was in the shower that evening, I looked through his phone to see who this girl is and why she's texting him. I found out that they've been getting coffee and lunch during the workday, sometimes to talk about work, sometimes not. That's a date. Your husband is dating another woman. That's definitely a date. She said prior to last week, it was maybe once a month communications to plan these, but then she joined a board that he's on last week. So they had a board meeting, but then seemed to go out as a group for drinks after until about 11. I did know that he was out with his colleagues during this time and wasn't concerned. What is concerning is that he texted her that night, making sure she got home safe and telling her how much fun he had, but that he'd been hoping to have more opportunities to talk with her instead of everyone else. He's cheating. Like, this is cheating. She said the next morning he texted her good morning and asking her to drinks one-on-one next week. She agreed and he said he couldn't wait. Oh, goodness. Of course, I looked her up and she's a very beautiful woman, probably in her mid-20s. I asked again later who she was and what their connection was. He reiterated that she's a colleague and is helping get him connected with exciting opportunities in her organization. I know he's been really focused on networking, and she has a lot of high-up community connections that it looks like she's introduced him to. He's also a friendly guy who likes to be involved through board work and professional groups. I don't want to go scorched earth and accuse him of anything inappropriate since my insecurity has been a major issue we've had to work through in the past, but I'm terrified he's going to cheat on me. Would this send off alarm bells for you, and how would you respond without accusing him and ruining the marriage? I don't know, like there's a fine line between like networking and trying to like gain connections in the company and like this. And this just don't seem right. It's rubbing me the wrong way. It just doesn't, I would have an issue. I think I would have an issue with this. And then you didn't mention it to your wife. I don't know. It just seems like unless it was something that you were trying to hide, it would have came up already, like without her having to find out about it. I don't know. So the update is very short. It was a few days later. She said, well, you were all correct. I continued to monitor his texts without saying anything, and he continued to be flirty, texting her good morning, telling her how he couldn't wait to see her and how happy he was to hear from her throughout the day. They did go out for dinner and drinks the other night. It sounds like it must have gone well since they're now flat out having conversations to set the framework for their affair. They've discussed that they want to keep things private and out of work, that she doesn't like that he's married, that they both have mutual feelings and are going to continue and are on the same page about everything, and that she initially didn't want to start this, but has developed feelings she can't ignore, while my husband told her that he's always had these feelings and couldn't resist her. Not sure if anything physical happened, but I'm assuming it did. I thought I'd be heartbroken, but now I'm just furious. I'm getting my affairs in order to confront him and end the marriage. Thanks for all the feedback and advice. Period. That's exactly how I would handle it. Gather the evidence, sis. Gather the evidence so you can have something concrete. And then that's it. Like, he can't deny it. Dang, she don't have an update. Oh, wait. Dang, she doesn't have an update yet. Come on, that was 2 weeks ago. Well, I wish you the best, sis, because that's tough. I don't know what else to say. Let's go to the next story. This one also has to do with a husband in a work situation. It says, my husband doesn't see how his work wife is trying to destroy our marriage. I, 31 female, am at my wit's end with my husband's 32 male, coworker Sarah, 30 female, and his complete inability to see what's happening. I'm not usually one for Reddit, but I need to know if I'm going crazy here. Where do I even start? 3 years ago, my husband, Mark, started working with Sarah. At first, I tried to be welcoming. I invited her to our barbecues, included her in group outings, and genuinely tried to be friendly. Big mistake. She spent the entire time making backhanded comments about everything from my career, oh, you're just a yoga instructor? How peaceful, to my cooking. I guess not everyone can master basic seasoning. The real problem is that Mark thinks she's just being funny. Last month, she literally threw away the anniversary mug I gave him because it, quote, clashed with the office aesthetic, end quote. When I got upset, Mark said I was being too sensitive and that, quote, Sarah just has high standards for office decor, end quote. It was a mug with our wedding photo on it. This fool don't like you. This man does not like you. And I bet he be talking about you to Sarah. I can bet money on it. Because how are you letting another woman throw away something that has my face on it? Make it make sense. She said some greatest hits from Sarah. She scheduled a mandatory work dinner on our anniversary. She convinced Mark not to take a promotion because it would mean working with a different team. She posts daily photos of them together with hashtags like work power couple and work spouse. She tells everyone at their office that she takes better care of him than I do, end quote. She changed his coffee order and now tells everyone she trained him right. Okay, you don't have a work-wife problem. You have a real-life husband problem because he's letting this happen. And granted, he probably likes the attention. He probably just likes the feeling that she gives him when she's doing all these things, making him feel included, caring for him, etc., etc. He could have malicious intent behind allowing it. He could just be sort of oblivious. I don't know. But this is concerning that a husband would allow another woman to overstep like this. This is crazy. She continues, the worst part, my husband is completely blind to all of this. Yesterday, he actually told me about how Sarah said our new house, which we spent months searching for, was charming in a starter home kind of way. He repeated this while laughing. I tried talking to him about it, but Sarah has convinced him I'm just insecure. She's managed to insert herself into every aspect of our lives. They text constantly, even on... Okay, girl, what are you waiting for? This is ridiculous. Why are you letting this continue? What's going on? What are you waiting for? Next update is going, they said they slept in the same bed, but nothing happened. I just don't understand why he continues to allow her to... Ain't no way. Ain't no way. She said they text constantly, even on weekends. She knows his schedule better than I do. She rearranged his entire desk and office wardrobe because his style was too suburban husband. That's what he is. Last week, I suggested marriage counseling. He looked genuinely confused. He, of course, went and talked to Sarah about it. I found out from another coworker that she's been telling people that Mark and I are going through a rough patch and that she's just being a good friend by giving him someone to talk to. We weren't going through anything until she started this nonsense. The breaking point, I stopped by his office to surprise him with lunch. I know, but it was his birthday and Sarah was supposedly out sick. What do you mean? I know. You're the wife. Stand up. Stand up. You're the wife. Not the work wife, not the pretend wife, the legal wife, the spouse, the life insurance benefactor, the emergency contact. It's you. Why are you apologizing for bringing your husband lunch on his birthday to work? And you acting all scared, talking about, oh, well, supposedly she was out sick. What does that have to do with anything? You're the wife. Girl, she said, guess who was there? Sarah. She had miraculously recovered and bought him a cake that said, to my work hubby, with a photo of them from the office holiday party. She saw me and said, oh, Amy, you came too. How nice. Mark, you didn't tell me your real wife was coming. If I... Opie said, I'm not crazy, right? This woman is trying to destroy my marriage while my husband stands there grinning like it's all some big joke. What do I do? Divorce seems extreme, but I'm running out of options here. Edit to add, I should have stated that the promotion wasn't one that would increase his salary, but his title. It would give him more leadership experience. It still blows my mind that he turned it down just so he could stay on the same team as her. Edit to add, I should have told the mug story in its entirety. She, quote, accidentally broke the mug. I noticed it was gone when I was visiting him one day and I asked him about it. He said she accidentally knocked it over and then later repeated a joke she made about how it didn't fit the office aesthetic. First of all, she didn't accidentally do anything. She purposefully did it. Even if it was an accident, he could have glued it back together. So that's not even a good excuse. Secondly, I agree, like divorce does seem a little dramatic, but something got to be done here. Shoot, maybe that would be petty. I was going to say maybe she could get her a work husband. That's not the adult thing to do, but shoot. If it were me, that's probably what I'd do. Oh, Sarah's your work wife? Oh, well, Jim Bob's my work husband. Maybe we should all go on a double work spouse date. So you can really see how funny it is. We can all laugh together. Some of the comments, somebody said, Sarah would not be able to sabotage your marriage if your husband wasn't allowing it. Another person, you have a husband problem. Go to counseling and get professional help to communicate your concerns. Remind him that he's married to you, not Sarah, so her opinions shouldn't matter when it comes to your marriage. Good luck, but be prepared for the worst. Another person, yeah, this guy isn't oblivious, he's complicit. He knows what's happening and he likes the attention. He is happy to let his girlfriend disrespect his wife. That's exactly what it is. Disrespect. Disrespect. So, update February 13th, 2025, 4 days later. Hi, I, 31 female, posted a few days ago. I really didn't expect my post to blow up the way it did. I got so overwhelmed by all the comments that I haven't responded to any. I want to address everyone who says it's fake. I understand why you think that, but this is my personal hell. I only listen to Reddit stories on TikTok, but when this reached its boiling point, I just needed a place to talk. So I made an account and tried to yell into the void. Well, the void turned out to be less empty than I thought. Now to why everyone is here. The update. Before I talked to my husband, 32 male, I decided to do some investigation. I started with his phone and read all the messages between him and Sarah. She badmouthed me a few times. He did nothing to defend me, but didn't engage either. She was flirty. He wasn't really flirty back. They talked a lot and he praised her frequently for her work ethic and intelligence. I didn't see anything about cheating. I checked his email, nothing. I checked his work email, nothing. I looked through our other devices, nothing. I searched high and low for a second phone, nothing. Everything I found was always dancing that line. Nothing was outright cheating, but here are the things I found that did hurt my feelings. He has lunch with her and only her every day in the office. They don't really like anyone else, so they'll criticize others and say, let's talk more at lunch. They're serving XYZ today. He'd say things like, I'm sure if you were a wife, you would XYZ. He always kept it as a wife and not my wife, but it still upset me. She admitted to breaking the mug on purpose. He didn't get upset with her, just said, yeah, the photo gifts are kinda corny. This man doesn't like you. This man doesn't like you. There's no way if I have a husband and somebody at work is making disparaging comments against my husband that I'd be like, yeah, you are kinda right. Or not correcting them, having lunch with them every day. He has a crush on her and he doesn't like you, his wife. That's crazy. So OP continues. She said, I confronted him. I laid it all out. And while he wasn't upset, he did try to brush things off. He said I was being sensitive and overreacting. I told him if we didn't have a real conversation about this, I would file for divorce. That got his attention, and he sat down with me. He admitted that at first he found it odd that Sarah was trying so hard. He saw her trying hard with all the men in the office. The more attention she gave him, the more he enjoyed it, and the more he responded, the more attention she gave, until she just had her sights on him. He knew some of the other men were envious, and he liked that too. He admitted that eventually he just got too deep. He said he knew it was wrong, but had gotten addicted to the attention and didn't want her to move on to another man. So he indulged her sometimes at my expense. He said it was just nice to have two women in the two major parts of his life, stating that he knew we'd rarely see one another, so what was the harm? He reiterated that he never, ever physically cheated with her, but admitted it could be called an emotional affair. It was painful, I won't hide that. I mean, really painful, like I wasn't enough. I told him from this point on, he needed to stop communicating with Sarah and ask to be transferred or switch jobs altogether. Now, folks, I mean it when I tell you this, he lost his shit. He began raising his voice, saying things like he never cheated, it was all above board, and I couldn't control who he talked with at work. He called me a narcissist and a control freak. He told me I had no idea how hard it was, how much stress he had in the office, and that his personal relationship with Sarah helps a lot. Taking it away would just damage his mental health. Okay, sir. So you sit here and admit the whole thing. You admit that it was wrong. You admit that you shouldn't have did this and this and that. But when it comes time to put a solution in place and say, okay, I won't talk to her anymore. I won't do what I've been doing anymore. You blow up at your wife? So what was the point of it? You might as well just have lied. You should have just lied and said, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Because what was the point? Yeah, so she said it got so bad that I started crying. I couldn't take it anymore and decided to leave. I packed a small bag and called my mother-in-law. She's the only family I have here. I gave her a rundown of what was going on and she offered her home to me. I'm staying here and just hoping my husband calms down so we can revisit this. I want to work it out. I love him more than anything. I will try harder to answer comments on this post, and I will definitely update if something new happens. This has been really therapeutic and makes me feel less alone. This is crazy. Someone said, well, I kind of figured he wasn't that clueless. This is a full-blown emotional affair. From experience, things will only escalate until they are in bed together. Protect your peace because he sure doesn't give a dang about your feelings. Stay strong. Someone else said, jumped right from admitted it could be an emotional affair to he began raising his voice saying things like he never cheated. OP made a valiant effort, but it doesn't seem like this marriage can be saved. Yeah, it's not looking good. I'm not gonna lie. His reaction to her telling him to basically stop the affair, you might want to talk to a divorce attorney and just see what your options are. It's not looking good. So an additional comment from OP about her mother-in-law. She said, my mother-in-law is on my side and told me point blank that he is wrong. However, she said she doesn't want to get in the middle because she doesn't want to damage the relationship with either one of us. She told me I'm welcome as long as I need, but she won't bring anything up to her son until he brings it up to her. My mother-in-law agrees his actions are wrong, but doesn't want things to escalate or to damage her relationship with either one of us, so she is staying out of it unless he contacts her. As for my husband, he has tried to reach out. He's called, left messages, texted. I let him know I was safe and left it at that. He will message or call every few hours, but we haven't talked. The first comment underneath this Best of Reddit update says, How dare his wife have the nerve to get in the way of his cheating? No, for real. For real. He sound like he the narcissist. Oh, wait a minute. She has another update. Okay. I don't think I'm going to like this. Okay. Update 2. She said, well, I'm back. First, I want to address some of the negative comments. To all the people saying they're Team Sarah and hoping Sarah and my husband get together, I even saw a nasty comment saying Sarah and my husband would be the office power couple. How can you sit here and say nothing's going on? You claim my husband didn't cheat and I'm being crazy, yet in the same breath wish they would get together? You're contradicting yourself because deep down, you know something romantic was developing. Now for the update. My husband came to my mother-in-law's house. She didn't call him. He knew I was there because I told him, and he said he wanted to talk. Some big things happened in such a short time. He wanted to explain. According to my husband, after I left, he started to reflect. He did call his mom and they had a long talk. I didn't know any of this. She asked him if he was happy with me, and he said yes, that I made him extremely happy. I was a good wife and a great partner. This is kind of what it all sunk into him, that he was being juvenile for wanting attention from another woman. I did ask him why he always brushed things off and never took action before. He said he couldn't explain it, it just felt good. He assured me he never wanted to sleep with her and never advanced things that way. It was just nice having someone around who was fawning over him like a fan. For those who said he didn't know what an emotional affair was and was just agreeing with me, you were right. He admitted he didn't really understand what an emotional affair was, but after looking it up, he agreed that's what it was, though unintentional. He said he didn't want to lose his friend, so he just went along with a lot of what she said. He admitted he was deep into a fog, but me leaving and his conversation with his mom was the one thing that brought him out of it. He said he didn't want to fight. My husband is big on giving me my space, so when I left, he didn't chase after me because he thought it would be best for us to just cool down and think about this and hopefully come back and discuss it more rationally. He did reach out to Sarah, though they didn't meet in person, they had a phone call. He told her they couldn't remain as close, that their out-of-office texts and calls needed to stop, that he would get a replacement mug she wasn't to touch, and that they needed to cut back on their lunches. He wanted to handle this before talking to me to show he was serious. Sarah didn't take it well. She started berating me, saying I was forcing him to do this. My husband stopped her and said no, he was doing this because his marriage was important. He admitted letting things go too far, but clarified he had no romantic interest in her. He told her if she had feelings for him, she needed to distance herself immediately. Sarah ended up ruining their friendship herself. Though my husband was willing to maintain a more distant friendship, her comments about me and him, claiming she'd never want him and that everything she did was because she knew we weren't meant to be together and she was trying to open his eyes. He said he couldn't believe he'd never seen how vindictive and awful she was. She was almost venomous. It didn't end well. After handling that situation, he came to see me, wanting to ensure I knew he understood and was taking the proper steps. He said we could do whatever I needed. I know some of you will say I'm wrong, that divorce is the only option because he had an emotional affair. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I'm not divorcing my husband. I told him we needed counseling for both of us. Yes, going through all his devices, emails, and texts might have been extreme. He agreed it felt like a breach of privacy, but understood given the circumstances. I told him we both needed to work on things. As of right now, I guess you could say that we're separated. We're not staying in the same house. We're going to attend counseling. I don't want to just jump back into things with him. I don't want it to seem like it was okay to make me feel like I was the second option, to ignore all those red flags and to brush me off. This has to be worked on. I'm leaving his mother's house and staying with a friend. I'm not sure if anyone's going to want an update after this. Sorry it's so anticlimactic. Sorry it's the typical, oh, you just got back together. I mean, it is, but it isn't. I love my husband. I know he loves me. I don't think everything is an end-all, be-all. Yes, it's a terrible situation. Yes, he did a terrible thing, but I want my marriage to last, so we're giving it another go. I genuinely hope this is my last update, but if it's not, y'all will know. Thank you for all the messages, all the support, everything. It has really been a huge help. I mean, I think some good steps are being made. I think he is coming out of the cloud of whatever it was, and he's making a concerted effort to like do right. So if this keeps going in this direction, I think they'll be fine. Now that other update, I was like, because he was like wasn't trying to hear it, but in this update, it sounds like he's came to his senses. They'll be okay. They'll be okay. So that's the last main story. I'll go to the palate cleanser. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And this is from the Made Me Smile subreddit. The title says, I injured my leg last weekend and am on crutches. I haven't been able to make it into work all week with bad icy weather. I got this text from my boss that he and my supervisor dropped by. And then the post says, I live alone and suffered an injury to my leg during a snowstorm, leaving me unable to walk without crutches. I've been trying all week to make it into work to no avail. I started at this company a year ago after leaving a horrible work environment. It feels like I found the right people. So then there's a screenshot of OP's text messages, and it says, OP, because of the storm today, I won't risk coming in, but we'll try for tomorrow if the roads and stuff are clear, or Monday at the absolute latest. Boss, thanks for the update and no worries, rest up. And then the next day around 2 p.m., boss texts, Blank and I were just by your place. We got most of the ice off your steps, but the driveway is a lost cause. There are some groceries on your deck. Feel better. OP responded, oh my goodness, thank you so much. You guys didn't need to. I didn't even hear anything. Boss, I'm not surprised with the wind whipping like that. No worries at all. It's the least we could do. OP, nah, that's above and beyond. That is so nice. Now, the cynic in me is like, what if the boss was just coming by to make sure like OP actually couldn't make it to work? But no, that's not what happened. I think he genuinely, or she genuinely was coming to try and help out OP in their time of need. But that thought did cross my mind for a split second. Anyway, I thought that was so sweet. So that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.